Welcome back to the Heritage Show, a space where we amplify the stories of women, their healing, empowerment, and resilience. Today's episode is a beautiful exploration of what it really means to feel confident, grounded, and at home with yourself. I'm joined by Joy Vanichkul, a former international supermodel turned wellness entrepreneur, meditation teacher, and founder of wellnessHow. From growing up in a meditation family in Thailand and building a global career in modeling and media, and eventually creating her own holistic approach to well-being. Joy's journey is one of both outer success and deep inner transformation. She is also the creator of the Intelligent Beauty Method, a powerful concept that redefines beauty as something that comes from self-awareness, inner peace, and alignment. In this conversation, we explore her journey across identities and cultures, the role of spirituality in her life, and how she now supports others in reconnecting with their own sense of beauty, confidence, and inner stability. If you ever questioned your path, your identity, or what true beauty and success really mean, this episode is for you. Let's dive in. Hi, Joy. Welcome to the Heritage Show. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Ling. Thank you so much for having me here.
I'm so excited to have you, and I will jump right in. So my first question is, what's your mission and what's the impact are you making to this world?
So my mission is to help women to look and feel beautiful from the inside out and from the outside in by using the harmonizing in the inner beauty, which is like my practice since I was young and until now, and also harmonizing their outer beauty, which is the outer appearance, outer radiance, because of my experience in fashion, in beauty for 30 years. So that is a mission that I want to feel that women can feel alive with themselves for the person that they already are.
Yeah,
Which is
amazing. Yeah, I love it. I love you mentioned the inside out and outside in is a holistic view and it's 360. And I love you mentioned this word harmonizing. It also very resonates with how I look at the world, my philosophy, also from China. We always look at things yin and yang and harmonizing. And I couldn't help notice you mentioned about your experience in so many different domains, like in fashion, in beauty, in mindfulness, in well-being. So maybe I start from the beginning. So we look back in your life when you were very young, you already started to meditate. Could you share with us more about this part?
Yes, sure. So I grew up in the family of devotees, Buddhist family. So from my mother side, from generation to generation, since my great grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, and all her brothers. So we all meditator. And then, of course, it's passing to us, I remember when I was just a very, very young age, my parents separated. So I'm the youngest one, got to stay with my great grandmother, and my brother and sister stay with my dad. But the result of it, because I have the young mother as well, she have to provide for her working at that time. So I stay with grandmother. So I become like the tag on. She took me everywhere when she go to the temple and she meditates. So I be always surrounded by the meditator. So that is forming the love. And of course, I feel the feeling of how to be totally peaceful from the inside out.
Yeah.
And of course, right, we know now by now that we are forming our life at that very young age. So that is always innate within me. And then when I moved back to stay with my mother, she was doing the same thing. She was just like taking my brother, my sister, she remarried. And before we went to bed every night, we got to meditate. We got to pray, like half an hour to pray, half an hour in meditation. It's like 1 hour straight and more. And we couldn't go to bed without doing that because my mom locking us up, three of us, four are just sitting down in front of the altar and meditating. Right. And which is like after that, about 17, I become the household name. I started modeling. I got found out. I got discovered and become rising on the top of the country in a very
Mm.
short time. But because of that foundation, it really helping me throughout my life, like teenage fast life in the modeling world, in the very glitter and fabulous and things that can take me away from
Yeah.
to becoming rooted. But because of that, it really helping me throughout until now.
Wow, this is really a fascinating story for me because, first of all, I hear you talk about meditating and praying for 1 hour as a kid. I wonder what would our world become if every kid would grow up in that environment because the world would have become so much more mindful, more peace,
Yes.
less conflict, war. And yeah, I think this is definitely one component we need to rethink in our education and in our family dynamic. And on top of that, you mentioned becoming a model at age 16 or 17, right? That's
Yes.
also crazy for me to imagine because I imagine the model world would be full of spotlight, beautiful people, a lot of temptation, a lot of luxury lifestyles. So how did that experience feel like as someone who really coming from a meditation background? Did that feel like in some way conflicted? Was that
Yes.
challenging for you?
Yes. But both sides, like I feel like I have personality of one side of me is loving inner peace, meditation. And the other side of me is I love life. I love to see beautiful things. I love the energy of people. And I love connection, to be connected with the mover, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that is my country. I came from Thailand. We are a very small country. And that
Yeah.
the top of fashion is a small community. But it's just like when it coming into that successful, like when I enter into it, like I get my first job is to work for the brand in Thailand, like Chanel, like the top
Mm.
brand in country. So I got into like very fortunate to be famous right away. And I got named as the top teen model at that time. And then later on the top Thailand supermodel. Only
Yeah.
uh, until now they still remember me as that.
Mm.
But you can imagine at that age, right? I'm still young. I remember that I never not really tell people about this part of my life. So I jump into like the fast forward modeling, having
Mm.
fun but I know that before I entering to work, I feel the focus that I could have. Like before I walking on the stage, I could feel that my body coming to me. Like, at the backstage, like in modeling, when I do fashion show, viewer, listener now, imagine of the backstage of the fashion weeks. It's just
Yeah.
so busy.
Chaotic.
Yes, everything is just moving around.
Mm.
And I have the dresser, we call the dresser, changing my dress. And that time, sometimes I wear hat, new hat, changing the dress between the dress, the set between the set. So wearing my new clothes, wearing my stocking, wearing my pants or my skirt, and with gloves. That time we wear gloves as well, changing makeup and jewelry. I have about 4 or 5 people around me. Let's talk about that,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
And then the choreographer just like have to remember how to walk, the pattern, the music, and so it's like all kind of skill that the
Yeah.
young girl need to have. But I remember exactly that I feel the same way as when I meditate. So I was my inside was just so strong and core being like grounded while
Mm.
things are moving around me. And then I took the breath and I going out on the stage while the spotlight coming on me. And I think that is all it's kind of like movement meditation. When I walk
Yeah.
up, I projecting the energy that emanating, you know, um, attention and
Yeah.
energy. So I think that is like, if I could think about everything that I've done, is meditation have been through helping me throughout my life and helping me to all of this into my work. And at the same time, like to helping me to not going too far to the fun side. Of course, I went to party, I went to after party, I went to all of those things that teenager, but it's one way of feeling me back to my purpose. What do I want to
Mm,
do in life? Which is that time I want to be a successful entrepreneur. I want to be success, like making a lot of money and all of that. So I always joke around that, oh, modeling is my part-time job. It's never part-time,
mm,
full-time. But meditation really it's a foundation. I think it's
yeah,
meditation, the foundation, discipline, focus, and clear about what do I want to do in life.
absolutely. Yeah. I hear from when you talk about meditation help you to be grounded, even though the external environment maybe is tempting, it's chaotic, it still draw you back to the center, the groundedness, the desire you had about being an entrepreneur and have successful business. And then that's exactly what you did after. So how did that transition look like? What is the first step that you made to start building your wellness and your spa business?
Yeah. So I becoming the household name. And as I mentioned that inside my mind, like I invest in the stock market since I was very young and I make a lot of money from it. I use the modeling money to invest into the stock market. And I remember that I make a lot of money, more than my modeling money. And then I have work every day. So like I learned how to invest the money at a very young age. It's just like, I just have that in me. And I always think to become a bigger, I want to be one of the success female entrepreneur in the wellness world because I love to take care of myself. I love the beautiful stuff. And once it's like we are human being, right? Okay, I'm reaching up into the top of my country and what's next for me?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember at that time they kind of say about, like the stereotype about model that model is got the easy money, that what they say, but actually it's not. Like we're working hard for
Mm,
it. And take discipline under the pressure of we have boss too, right? They have a lot of boss around. We got to follow, being disciplined, taking care of ourselves. We got to have the discipline. We got to be able to
mm,
work with everybody. Like I think all the skill that the people not really have it. I think nowadays in the office world, like this is a big
mm,
skill to be able to work with everyone when you do deal with all of that, right? So that is a skill that I got. And then connection, how to be with people, how to connect people. I
mm,
think that's very important. And I thought like, okay, what else that I want? So I want to pursue. At that time, I was modeling for the very beautiful spa around the world. I
mm,
traveled to Bali, a lot of, and I feel like that there is a opportunity for me to open the first business to that time is like a competitive that they say that model never be successful in business. I want to be the first one to be
mm,
able to do that. So I opened the spa inside the fitness center in Thailand, the
uh,
first one. And this spa, which is totally creating the new style of spa. I design all the treatment myself,
mm,
and in the name of like sell you later, like say goodbye to your cellulite. I create all of fun
yeah.
stuff. And the other one, like the Cleopatra treatment, which is like the scrub. And, I create all of those things to make people like traveling into where else. They're like back into the time that they're pampering themselves. And it works. It's worked very
Uh-huh.
well. So I just opening and then I got the chance to do that. And then I got 6 months in, I got the return in my investment. When I opened the door on my first spa, I have 500 people already pay for it.
Wow, okay.
So my spa was
Amazing.
successful in the beginning. I used, I'm using my reputation, my name as a modeling into wellness and create the trend of that women can look and feel beautiful since then.
Yeah, wow. Very impressive. And I hear you mentioned that you first invest yourself, invest in stock market. That's already a skill a lot of us don't have and didn't have the experience with that. Especially as a woman, we should do more, not only for the safety net, but also if we want to open our own business. This is definitely something we need to do. And you mentioned about all the skill you learned from being a model, the ability to make new connections and also disciplines. Really, I see all of this piece make the success of you today. And then you mentioned something interesting. How I interpret it is you follow your intuition. When you travel the world and do the work for spa, you see the opportunities and then you create your unique experience and offer that to the market. And that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
And then what's happened after? Because I think this is already the second time you reinvent yourself. So from small kid meditating, become a model, and then become a business owner, entrepreneur. And then you invented the intelligent beauty, right?
Yeah.
Come after.
Yeah, I would love to talk about that because you're just hitting onto the right spot. That I would love to have this message to all your podcast listener, and you talk about intuition.
Mm,
And of all everything that I have, of course, I work hard. I'm very disciplined, and I really feel things in and look at things in the different perspective. And I totally transform my life over and over and over again. And I don't follow the norm, like modeling,
mm,
the model have to be this way. So I broke through to become the first entrepreneur success. I work with the government. I become the board of Thai Spa Association. I did so many things that broken the record of the
mm,
norm.
mhm,
And then when I came here 11 years ago, I mean, in the US, I live in LA right now. So I shift from the model to teach meditation and yoga and all through those embodiment, which is another breaking through of the transformation. But
mm,
when I look back at this now, because of my intuition, I think the most skill that I really have in my life is my intuition. And I
yeah.
learned to listen to it since
Mm,
I was very young. So, like I know that some of you might have like, okay, that, the gut feeling that's telling you some,
mm,
but sometimes our fear has become higher. And that's why we stay in the box and we're not moving
right.
out. But for
Yeah.
me, I took it as the fun stop, like, okay, let's see what I can do. Like in the beginning, let's see what else can I do. Let's see what else I can do
Mm.
out and change and transform my life many times over because of my intuition.
Yeah, wow. I love that. And I hear you say that this sense of curiosity, like let's experiment with it, let's see what's happening. Even if other people say it's not possible, no one has done this before, and you are the
Mhm.
one being the first. And I love it. And maybe on this point, I really would love if you can elaborate because, of course, everyone's talking about how important that we develop our intuition. Is there anything specific you do in your daily routine that can support us, support women to cultivate this intuition and to follow this intuition?
Yes. So the thing is, the intuition whisper, right? It's just
Mm,
very whispering. It's a gut feeling. It's a very subtle voice that you have when you in the flow, when we are in the flow.
mm,
So what we could do is to generating yourself to be in the flow, to be quiet, right? Is there are if there are so many noise in the world, and of course right now we go into the world of changing, so many noises, people in the world, and how can you becoming more quiet? I have many people that I teach with intelligent beauty, which is, I want to talk about that later, which is
yeah.
like how the I creating that. It's because of so many people told me that they can't be quiet. They can't be with
Mm,
themselves. They got to find something else to do to make their mind occupy, right?
occupy.
So, so that is hard to really connect it into our own guidance. Every one of us, you, me, and everybody that listen now, you have your own intuition guidance.
Mm,
And you will hear it when you allow yourself. So many practice possible. Of course, one main thing we both love to do is meditation, right?
yes, meditation, of course.
Meditation could be so many things. I study so many things. Can be just, just being quiet by yourself. Meditation doesn't need to look like the monk, doesn't need to look like the guru, the yogi. Meditation can be just simply you breathing, counting breathing in and breathing out, right?
Yeah.
Inhale, exhale, right? It can be that easy. Or just put your hands into your heart and feel your heartbeats.
Yes.
And then you can count your heartbeats.
Connect to our body.
Yeah. It could be looking outside to something beautiful, nature, anything that beautiful and warm your heart and smile and just get into that state of receiver mode to be in meditate. It could be something like you lying down on the bed before you wake up. I think that is the place that we have
Yes.
the brain wave.
Unconscious. Yes.
Yes. And that before you went to sleep, before you just about to that is the momentum before waking up. And that moment, and you just get into those bliss, happy. How do you know that you are in those states? It's how you feel, right? You feel totally relaxed. You feel totally bliss. And
Yeah.
just start to clipping just to follow it into that state more and more. And that's it, connect with that state. And soon enough, something you will might be thinking about something that you never think before. And something that telling you that, okay, maybe today I should call Ling
Yeah.
and then ask about something. Maybe somebody popping up, maybe some message that you need to be learned about. Sometimes
Mm,
I use my hiking. I have my go-to hiking trail,
mm,
that I carry on the question. I went out early in the morning. I have that question with me. And as soon as when I came there, I already got the answer by my body movement.
yeah.
So just notice yourself. What is put you into of that receiver, the message coming? Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I think this world being quiet is really essential here. The ability to stay still. I think nowadays almost everyone lose that ability to stay still and just do nothing and listen what's happening inside. And meditation definitely is one of the essential tools, but there are so many ways, like you said, going out for a quiet walk without listening to music, breathe and observe our body, look around in the nature. Everything allow us to be really fully in the present, can help us develop this intuition as you highlighted. I love that. And now let's get into the intelligent beauty part because I love how you develop this also based on your own experience and across different industry and living in different country and as a woman, as a model. So could you share more how this world actually come into your mind, intelligent beauty, and what does that mean?
Yes. So first of all, when I look at, how to live life in the wholeness, right? Feel like that we dividing into what it should be, what it should look like. Like as I came from the product of the both world, actually, I came from part of Asian. I came from Asia and its culture, tradition different. And now I live in the US, which is totally different in culture. I love meditation. I love ancient wisdom. And at the same time, I love science. I train with the neuroscience. I know that there is the integration between the two. And I saw all of this my question is that I've been throughout my life, I want to know what can I do? Like, what is this, my body as a human and human consciousness at Joy? How can I expand myself in such a way?
Mm,
So, so many knowledge, in terms left and right, to find this solution, to find this common theme, and how to live life towards a wholeness at the full potential as I could be.
mm,
So, and to transform my life over and over. So, intelligent beauty method is just like, is the integration between the inner and outer beauty, which is, I already mentioned that, the
yeah.
harmonizing between inner and outer beauty. And the another pillar is wellness
Mm,
because of how to take care of ourselves. The wellness is how to take care of our physical body, biology, right? And physiologies and all of those. And another pillar is consciousness, which is like connecting to nature, connecting to the source, connecting to something that we can see with our own eye, but we can feel, right?
yeah.
Higher vibration, sound, nature,
Mm,
all kind of things. And to live like in the lane of the integration of three of it, like beauty, wellness, and consciousness. And that's how we can create the wholeness and to live life every day and and to feel good and be successful and to living into the full form of what I say towards life that can offer. Yeah.
yeah. I love that integration you mentioned, the beauty, the wellness, the consciousness, because
Yeah.
we have this life, we have this body, but it's more than that, right? It's not only about
Yeah.
the
It's
beauty
all
on the
start
skin.
it's all starting with ourselves
Yes,
first. And
yes.
then our self is expansion, like you say in your
Mm,
that ourself to our surrounding, ourself to our family, to our surrounding, to our neighborhood, and to the world, and to your universe. And then
yeah.
come back into ourself. It's like a flow endlessly. But how
Mm,
ourself being into the practice, which is integration, everything that we know. And I feel that the thing that is stopping us from receiving everything that we want in life is not knowing. The Buddha
mm,
said, not knowing is we have to open our mind, right, to be able to accept into the truth and taking ourselves onto the journey. And then not to be escaping into the world, like going to the mountain. And I used to think that way. I'm like, oh my God, I want to go into the practice, to the solitude. But
mm,
actually, we got to integrate the both and to having how to be creating the life on earth with the everything
mm,
we have. Yeah.
yeah. So to develop this intelligent beauty, as you said, we should start from ourselves, inside out, and then, of course, also amplify and spread this out to people around us, to the world. In reality, in practical terms, how do we actually achieve it as a woman? Maybe you can share with us something you do in your daily practice, maybe your routine that can help us move towards this direction.
Yeah. First of all, it's coming from our belief system, right? So let's start from the word beauty. And I put the intelligent beauty is not the intelligent intellectual. I put the
Mm,
intelligent in terms of intelligence with a higher consciousness beauty. So I found that many women that I spoke to, I did the research before I'm creating this as well. So women either believe that they're beautiful or they believe that they're not beautiful.
mm,
And many women think that beauty could be superficial or could
mm,
be dangerous. And it's called come down from the childhood, right?
mm,
From the parents, from mother, from the generation that to protect the beauty is not something that we should treasure and or to speak it out loud, right? And what is this beauty can do is to honor and to the knowledge of beautiful, either the inner beauty or outer beauty. Because when we are knowing or knowledge about how to honoring inner beauty, which is cultivate love, compassion, kindness through the methodology of inner self development, which is meditation, breathing, you name it. We all know in that, right? And also the other side, which is outer beauty, to take care of our skin, knowing, like outer expression, how to radiance cell, how to just like grow, the aging define, how to take care of ourselves, like by applying some moisturizer into our face, giving ourselves a good nutrition meal. And you name it, putting on the nice clothes, the nice jewelry, and to look not just for other people, it's for ourselves. When you look in the mirror, you kind of like, hey, I love the person I see in the mirror. She kind of look
Yeah.
cute with that, right? She kind of look beautiful, like something about her today. So I sparkle. And maybe the lipstick, this shade is changing the expression of today instead of like going into thinking about something that make her stressful and just like putting on this and to feel value, to feel that you are matter. It's work both way. It's just like a infinite side, inside out and outside in. And I think this integration is so crucial and nobody know about it. Nobody really practicing and taking into heart because it's take both way to really feel good and feel that, we are good enough and we're ready to take up into the world and take up the challenges. Like women want to, I believe that majority of women it want to look or feel beautiful and how that we can embody that and accept that into ourselves. And then knowing that that is power in it, that, we can use that to teach other women, take that in term, taking up space and to get into wherever we go as to our heart desire.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love you highlighted the belief system because I literally did a image work peer coaching session before this recording because I have a group that I regularly work with. And today in my session, I actually got a message from my future self about what I must do to reach the ideal future that in my vision. So the word come to me is actually the same, is I have to change my belief system. Because as you highlighted, this was so deeply rooted from our childhood, even maybe from past life, from generations. And oftentimes this determines how we feel inside, how we feel outside, how we behave, we think, we speak, we act. And when we can truly change our belief system, things will fundamentally change inside out. And as you said, it also change and impact outside in. So it's this infinite, loop and infinite reaction and impact with each other. So love that. For changing belief system, do you have a practice that you think women can do, maybe a small one that can help us to start breaking this belief system?
To change your belief system, first of all,
Mm,
you got to make decision.
yeah.
And I feel that people say that they want to, but they're not really making that decision. What do
Mm,
I mean by that? It's just like, that's it. You come into the point of like the crossroad. Is this belief that we have is still serving you? Is this belief, can you see yourself living like this any longer? And I think, to really transform ourselves rooted deeply, we got to make that decision. It's not easy because all of this belief is formed when we're young into our subconscious mind from generation, like you say, from the surrounding where, and
yeah,
there are so many influences. And to
yeah,
taking up against all of those things is like the inner voice outer voice, noise, inner noise, outer noise, head noise, belief, fear, all of that. It's taking a lot of courage, like a lot of power to just like, that's it. I don't want to go any longer. And many of us, including me in my life, I got to get the default mode, which is what I mean by default. It's just like I got forced to do it. Like I don't have anywhere else. Like I got to change. If not, I fall down to hill, fall down to the cliffs. But we don't have to be that way. And because now, there's so many people that, working hard like me, myself, I dedicate my life to this, to really working on science and also energy inside and out to really come down. Like I could give you this answer, but you got to walk the path by making the decision and to take care of yourself first, to just say that this is no longer serve me. This is not the, the gimmick or the term of spirituality that they're talking about. It's truly. So what we can do, like you see me, I coming from the other country, how can I get success? It's because of I make that commitment. I make that decision. It takes courage. It takes power. And also it takes love. It takes heart to be open to that. One that you get into that, okay, we're going to deal with it. We take commitment and taking action. It's just like take up the step of creating the new habit, the new path. Okay, what is be like your future self, like you say, what you see yourself, contribution to this world. And of course, it's got to be like contribution to yourself. What do you want to be success in life? What did your heart desire? What is one thing that if there is nothing else that if you can just taking away from the other people expectation, it's just slowly you, what you would you like to you? What did make your heart fully waking up every day, no matter you got smashed down and sometimes you want to do it and you just want to get up to it. And for me, is to spread out the intelligent beauty method. It's the most hardest thing in the world because I could choose to do something else, which is I can create all the other businesses, but I choose to do this because I feel like it's so alignment in me.
Yeah.
So what are that for you? And I think it's taking work to go there. And one that you have that, okay, you have your starting point, you have your goal, which is, let's say for me, is intelligent beauty back into 5 years ago. I couldn't not doing it. I know that this message gonna change boom my life and transform the world. I totally believe that. So what is in the gap? What is in between you and your goal? So you got to just start to be strategy. What is in between? For me, what is in between me is I told myself that I'm not ready. I told myself that I don't have time because of course everything is about time, right? And I don't have what else that I don't know many people enough. All kinds of things make it all up.
Excuses.
So you have to make the list of what is in the gap between you today and who you get to be. And you start to closing that gap every day and just commit it. And then when the time that you got smashed out, you coming back again, take a deep breath. Okay, what did we say? What do you want? And just commit it again. And of course, we can get off way, stay in the community, stay around yourself with the people that understand your vision, understand your goal, understand your committed action, because it will be easier for you to really surround yourself. It doesn't need to be your best friend. Because your best friend is when you pick up your friend in the previous life or in the past, it's not alignment with who you are or who you get to go. Go find some new friends, who share the same vision. And so they can remind you every day. And then I think nowadays we have so many teacher, coach, mentor that already walk the path. Check them if they already do their own work. Check them if they already do their part. Because you know what? Reading the book or having the data Now we have AI, data is everywhere.
Yeah.
But the real transformation of human transformation, the teacher, the mentor who embody that, who walk on the fire before, that is who you want to learn from. And that is who you want to hang out with because they've been there. They got burned before. They're making into the other way. And they already create a path. I have the great mentor and teacher around me so I can walk my path to do to reach my vision, which is different than my teacher vision and mentor vision. So you surround them yourself with it. And it's such a great thing that you can give to yourself to surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah. Wow. I love it. I hear that you walk me through this map of how to get there is basically first we have to have the courage, find the courage to make the decision, see I cannot do this anymore. I have to change. Of course, oftentimes people have to reach that rock bottom, as you said. That's also what happened to me, like two times burnout, eventually to be forced to make that change. That's why, as coach and mentor, that you support others because you want to support them, hopefully not reaching to the point, but start the change right now already. And with that, of course, as you said, is also to step by step finding that alignment, that vision, that's your heart's true calling, what you want in your life purely from your heart, not from expectation, not from your parents, from the society. And with that vision in mind, like you highlighted, really critical here is how to close that gap by finding the right community, by having the mentor, the coach, the teacher, and by learning all the knowledge skills. And really, like you said, just wake up every day, be consistent, put in the effort. And then, yeah, that's also how you achieved it, I guess.
Yeah. And it's just not the buy of the doing to put the effort. It's just also the being, right? The being
Be,
of the being of like embody that qualities of who do you
mm,
want, you know,
yeah,
who do you want to be in your future self? What is that person feel like, inner and outer? For me,
mm,
I want my heart to be open. I want to feel love as much as I want to feel power and courage. So I walk into between the two sides of me and then to be power and love and compassion and courage at the same time. And I want to talk to all of my fellow women who are listening here, because first of all, I want to acknowledge all of us actually, because as women, we have the deepest desire that we want to be. We always know, but majority of us we got to put other people first, right? Either family first, kids, husband, partner,
mm,
and then other people in the whole world who we want them to change. But we have to overcome a lot of difficulty before we can really taking that action to ourselves. And it's so much of it could be fear that happening. That's why it's so important for you to know that, some people might think like in Asia, my Asian friends is like they graduated very successful in life and then after marriage they just stay at home. And then but
mm,
that burning desire is still inside of them. And
yeah,
then finally, time passes by and they couldn't remember that person anymore and they become more depressed and stressed. And, as long as the relationship family goes and they couldn't find themselves. And I think no matter where we are in life, no matter where you guys are in life, and just keep that passion, that calling and ignite it, flame it
mm,
more and more because you can be a mother, you can be a good partner, you can be good friend, all of that. But you can do something that is huge and then big it and make and contribute it to the world too. So
yeah,
at some in your own way, or you're in community. And that is something that I think that is how we connect it to something that greater than us, something that meaningful. And I feel that is the essence of living.
Wow, nice. This is so empowering to hear. I love how you put it, to ignite the flame in you. And that's how you find your meaning, your purpose, and why we're here for this life, right? So I love it. And we've talked so much about your transformation, your reinvention, and I'm really curious what's coming up for you? What's next step? What are you working on now?
So I'm finished everything about intelligent beauty method that I want to give. This is my gift to all the women and increasingly men too, the gift of the knowledge of intelligent beauty, which is I catering and dedicating my life to it. And literally
Mm,
it's like from my heart, why I'm here for. I'm creating the masterclass, I creating all of the um how to and to live life with the intelligent beauty. And I wrote a book about 2.5 years ago, almost 2.5 years ago. And so
wow.
I reach out to more people and understand about it. So, like with the knowledge in the book that I can live it, that women can read. And I hopefully that I just share with you that I would want to traveling the world to bring this message and to around the world to bring the practice, because I want to create women to create the result. And I'm the person of the result, not only like understand the philosophy of intelligent beauty method, to understand about like how to live life. I think we all need people to hold hand and walk into the past until we can understand things. And I'm the product of the great people that come before me in these lifetimes and giving me this gift. And I want to pass it to women. So I about to launch the Intelligent Beauty book. So which is
Mm-hmm.
like that women can learn from it, from my 30 years of life dedication through the beauty world, fashion world, wellness. I used to own spa and wellness center for 17 years, and they're still creating in that sense how to live life in full potential. And also the consciousness, which is not only inside of the meditation, but I'm talking about frequency, energy, and bring
Mm,
all of that into the lens of living life to your heart desire, to create a life that you want and to feel and look beautiful from the inside out and the outside in, and to own your power.
wow. How exciting. I really look forward to see your book coming out. Maybe welcome you to Berlin if you ever come for a book tour. And I can't wait to meet you in person and hear all the success and all the impact you create and all the life that you touch. Yeah, it's really been a pleasure getting to know you and hearing your story and sharing your message to the world. How can people connect you and find your work?
Yes, my name, Joy Vanichkul, and then my last name is a little bit complicated for you, but it's like vanish, like gone, vanish, and Gun is like Kul. It's called Vanichkul. So I use this name across my social media. You can connect with me there or email me at joy@wellnessofjoy.com. That is connecting direct to me. And I want to find like-minded people, if you feel intelligent beauty method and you want to spread out this message with me, let's get in together.
Yeah, sounds good. So thank you so much again, Joy, for being here. And I would love to see you and talk to you very soon. And until then, stay well and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Ling. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode with Joy. If this conversation resonated with you, I'd really appreciate if you could share this episode with a friend or someone who might need this message today. And don't forget to follow The Heritage Show on Spotify and connect with me on LinkedIn and Instagram, where I share more on burnout prevention, holistic well-being for women. Thank you for being here and for being part of this space where we continue to learn, heal, and grow together. Until next time.